what do you? So Lucas Gage, it started over some like irrelevant beef from like 2 years ago, but it was just like you were what, getting smeared? What was the lore on that?
Yeah, it wasn't even a beef with him. It was so basically there. I mean, and I think pretty much anyone that like follows me knows about this at this point. Like, so I have this like horde of unhinged lunatics that spread all of these crazy smears about me. But one of the things that they spread is that I'm like a pedophile enabler because I dated a child pornographer in college, which is not true at all. What happened was I dated someone in college who, and it's actually a really crazy story. It involves the New York Times, Kirk Eichenwald testimony in front of Congress, like all these. It's actually like an insane story.
No way.
Yeah, no, for real. Do you want to hear the whole story?
Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
All right.
Medical porn guy. Shit.
Yeah.
So I dated this guy.
He's Jewish,
in
by the way. I
college.
don't know if you know that. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a suspicion. So I dated this guy in college named Aaron, and Aaron, this is, you gotta understand, like, I'm old, right? I went to college I went to Boston University just like Nick, but it was back before Boston University sucked. But this was like in the early 2000s, and so this was before PayPal. This was like in the early days of the internet. I dated this guy he's a legitimate genius, and one of the things he did was he wrote a credit card processing program that anyone could kind of put on their website and just like put on a widget on their website and process credit cards. And so a lot of porn websites at the time used this. And this was, again, back before this stuff kind of existed. So all these porn websites, all these small business websites were using his credit card processing thing. And he was just making a boat ton of money. He was like in college doing math and computer science degrees, but just like raking it in from this credit card processing thing. His childhood best friend is a guy named Tim. Tim is a scandalous mother effer who I'm not going to spend much time on other than to say he's a scandalous mother effer, and we always knew that Tim was going to go to jail for something, and we all told Aaron to stay the F away from him. Anyway, so Tim was using Aaron's credit card processing thing on porn websites that he was running. He was like a gay porn star. Aaron didn't have anything to do with this. He was just processing the credit cards. So we graduate from college. Aaron starts traveling all over the world. Tim moves to Florida to start doing his gay porn empire with these other people, all using Aaron's credit card processing thing. Long story short, what happened is one day, Aaron gets a phone call when he was living in Sweden from one of his friends saying, dude, they're testifying about your company in front of Congress. And Aaron's like, what the hell? And turn on C-SPAN and they find out that Kirk Eichenwald is testifying in front of Congress with this kid named Justin Barry, and people can look all this up. It's all Googleable. You guys know who he is?
Yes.
Yeah. Who do you think Justin Barry is?
He's the kid that Kurt Eichenwald used. Because wasn't it the story was Kurt Eichenwald like got into contact with this like underage kid who was making child porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Kurt Eichenwald, being a Jew, was like, I could shut down the child porn, but I want to make money off of it. So he had him keep doing child porn. And in the meantime, he like made a story to write in the New York Times about it, right? And that's how he made his bones.
That is 100% correct. You guys are the first people that I've ever talked to that actually understand this story.
Yeah, well, we're anti-Semitic, so
we'll find a way.
Semites to know this story.
So
we'll find a way to hate the Jew, dude.
Kirk Eichenwald paid this kid thousands of dollars to spend time with him to tell his story, right? And then there was this whole big thing in the New York Times. There's all this testimony in front of Congress. The kid was working with Aaron's childhood best friend, Tim, on those porn websites. That was who was hosting the porn websites. My friend was processing the credit cards for it, not knowing what the F was going on. So this testimony's happening in front of Congress. Aaron gets this phone call from his friend being like, what the hell is going on, bro? And then, so Aaron, being that he's actually like a normal person in good times, he called the FBI and he was like, I hear you guys are investigating me and there's this testimony in front of Congress, because the FBI had never gotten in touch with him, but apparently he was being investigated by them. And the FBI was like, yeah, come back to America and we want to interview you. And my friend was like, again, trying to do the right thing, gets on a plane from Sweden, comes back to America. They arrested him in Boston and basically started charging him with all this child porn stuff. And like, I mean, really crazy, like trumped up charges, because that's what the feds do when they get and because this was
really
this was high
trusted the
profile.
FBI. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it was a dumb move, and you know what? It was funny because we were talking about it one time, and he was like, "Karlyn, I almost turned back when I was in London, but I was like, just go and get it over with." I mean, he had like real estate in America. He didn't want to be like exiled from America for the rest of his life, so he just like was going to go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I mean, it was this big high profile thing. So the feds start really throwing like every single charge at him that they possibly can get. And he wanted to fight it. He wanted to go to trial. If the trial had been held in Boston, he would have been acquitted. They did all sorts of focus groups on this. The feds did focus groups on this too. So because he would have been acquitted if it was a Boston jury, they ended up moving the trial to Virginia, where if you like different jury pool, different focus groups, he had an 80% chance essentially of getting convicted just on the basis of the crimes that he was charged with by the feds. And so what ended up happening is if he had been convicted, he probably would have gone to jail for the rest of his life. I mean, that's just like he was 24 years old. And this was all based on just credit cards he was processing. And so what he decided to do was his lawyers negotiated a very narrow plea deal where he was really like, they knew exactly the amount of time that he was going to be sentenced to in jail. And it came down to the decision of, do you want to spend basically 8.5 years in federal prison, or do you want to spend the rest of your life in federal prison? And so that was the choice. And he ended up taking the plea deal and spent 8.5 years in federal prison. And, I know he didn't have anything to do with kids. Everyone in our lives knew he had nothing to do with kids. The government even knew he had nothing to do with kids.
Is he a sex? What is it called?
Registered
sex predator? Registered sex offender.
I think he did have to register as that just on the basis of the plea that he took. But he's never like he never had any involvement in any of this stuff. And like I knew that because I was around all of them when this was happening. And so I chose to stick by him because I know he got completely effed over by the government. He got completely effed over by his friend. He got completely effed over by Kirk Eichenwald, all this stuff. And so I was loyal to him. Like, I am like, you know, I might have a lot of faults, but if I think that you are like being wrongfully persecuted for something, like I will stick by you and have your back no matter what. And so I have no regrets. He got out of prison, I think in 2015. The ironic part of it all was that we weren't like, I wasn't even really talking to Aaron when all of this stuff hit the internet, which was in when was it? It was in mid 2022 that the smear campaign started getting like pushed on the internet. Aaron and I weren't even talking. He had moved on with his life. He had a good job. Huh?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It was that gay guy that was pushing a lot of that, right? That you were talking about earlier.
Yes, his name is Mike Harlow. He's also a Jewish. His real name is Bernstein. So you can take that for what it's worth. But yeah, he's this gay guy that worked with Walkaway.
What beef did you have with him?
So basically, Mike Harlow and I traveled together for like 6 months with the Walkaway campaign, doing rallies every single month for the back half of 2020. And he got really pissed off that my platform grew when his didn't. My platform grew very quickly in 2020. His didn't. That was it.
With the Walkaway, is that the same thing Scott Pressler was a part of? Or is that I think it's something else?
Scott Pressler definitely did. Scott Pressler mostly works on his own. He definitely does have he did stuff with Walkaway. Like I've done several events with him. Okay. But he's not like in it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I knew he was like he was didn't he start something that was like very similar to Walkaway? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I can't remember. Anyway, it's totally irrelevant. But yeah. I knew I thought he was affiliated. But
so anyway, that's basically what happened. And then all this stuff, like several years after Aaron got out of prison, just got it got put online, and I honestly feel really bad about it. He got dragged through the mud because people were trying to target me to convince people that I enable pedophilia or whatever, which just isn't the case. Like, I was loyal to a friend. I will never regret being loyal to a friend. And so kind of 2 years later, it's kind of died down for the most part. Like, I still hear about it, but most people just don't care anymore. But then the week before AFPAC, Lucas Gage starts posting it everywhere. And I was like, bro, could you have just DM'd me privately and just said what's going on? Could you just have tried? I don't know. Anyway.
Damn. I was Brandon Straka was the Walkaway guy. Sorry, I was getting my gay neocon Jews mixed up there for a second. It happens.
It happens.
But so that's a crazy story. That's insane.
Yeah, but actually, the fact that you guys know who Kirk Eichenwald and Justin Barry are and that whole thing, it's crazy that you know that.
Oh, no, it's crazy that you dated a guy wrapped up in that. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like I don't know. I feel like it's pretty famous, at least in our neck of the woods. Because, well, actually, we're just like archaic. We're just like two boomers, and that's why we know about it. None of the people in the chat know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, Kurt Eichenwald
but
it
was pretty big a few years ago, back in the olden days. Fuck me. Dude, because he got caught looking at fucking tentacle hentai, right, Kurt Eichenwald?
Yeah, he was like, what was the thing? He's like, I was trying to but my wife didn't believe me that there's such a thing existed, so I Googled it to show it to her, and she was like, wow, that's crazy.
The story was, he was like, somebody, he was like, here's a, oh, that's what it was. He was like, I found these anti-Semitic flyers around my town. It's bullshit that Donald Trump allows anti-Semitism to thrive, right? And he like took a picture of this like fuck Jews picture, a poster, but in the background you could see his computer, and he had a fucking hentai website tab up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then his excuse was that he was showing his wife tentacle hentai because she didn't believe it existed, and his kids. He was also showing this. But then they could see in the URL what the hentai mag that he was reading was, and it wasn't even tentacle porn. And then he went on like four TV. I think he went on Tucker or something about it too. But yeah, the guy's a freak.
And then he had a seizure, because somebody posted a Twitter gif at him.
He got some like disabled veteran locked up for posting a mean tweet at him.
Yeah. Remember, it was like, this is his wife. He just had a seizure right now, and he's lying on the floor dying. It's like, call the ambulance then, dude. Like, why are you tweeting right now? He's like, I just imagine Kurt Eichenwald just sitting there on the floor, fucking like freaking out, and she's like, this is his wife. You've done it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here, dude?
A few moments later.
Prag Culture sent $25. Hearing Karlyn explain this story for the first time is really eye-opening. I honestly believed a lot of the smears against her for a long time. I'm sorry to say I bought into this stuff. Glad to hear she's totally exonerated.
Yeah, no, well, that's the crazy thing, right? And I think, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but it's how it goes with literally every internet person. It's like, as it turns out, people just kind of spread the most malicious and vile shit about people, and you kind of have to like look into it, or at least hear what they have to say first before you make any judgments or whatever.
I mean, and I appreciate you guys like actually letting me tell the story. I've actually never talked about that story to anyone in like good faith, and I've actually wanted to do that for a while, but I mean, I feel like I tried to tell the story on my channel multiple times. I have this one website where I actually posted the entire letter that Aaron sent me when all this started, basically explaining in detail kind of like what happened. And, it really was like an eye-opening experience, because it's kind of like I knew what the truth was. All of my friends and family knew what the truth was, but no one on the internet actually looks into this stuff. Like, no one. And so it was kind of a really big honestly, this is like probably when I should have red pilled on the Jews, was like the whole Kirk Eichenwald thing. That probably should have been the moment that it happened, but sometimes it takes more than one, right? But like, having that campaign spread about me just because some like asshole gay Jew was like jealous that I got a bigger platform than he did, it was like, what the hell is wrong with the world?
Yeah, well, it's like a gay like guilt by association thing too, and that's like the typical playbook of what a lot of these people try to play too. It's like they do the same thing to Nick, to me, to everybody on the internet. Well, you claim to be this like person, but you're friends with somebody that isn't like a perfect person, and they're made mistakes, and that makes you a bad person by proxy. Actually, it's like, fuck off, man.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing happen with someone getting like jealous. And then deciding to try to like fuck me up and betray me. So I understand. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Do you want to talk about politics at all? Like so where do you even really stand right now?
Well, but before we move on, if you don't mind, I do want to ask something while it's like related to all the like drama and stuff. Not to like dredge everything up. Like feel free to just tell me to fuck off. I'm not trying to like attack you, but I had heard something that you had like called in a bomb threat or something to somebody.
No, that didn't happen. That was all bullshit.
No. I just wanted to hear. I had heard something like vaguely about it. I don't know the details. So
no, what happened is, and this was like back in. Oh my god, the internet is so insane. This was like back in 2020 again, where I was traveling with the Walkaway campaign, and I was like going to this event in Milwaukee, and they put me up at this hotel that, honest to God, it's like the most disgusting hotel I've ever been in my life. And the hotel had a water park, and there were just like all of these like black families staying there using the water park, running up and down the hotel hallways all night, screaming and making noise, dredging water. It was the grossest hotel I've ever stayed in my life. Anyway, during 2020, I was making this big point to like wear a MAGA mask out like in airports and stuff, just to basically like give the finger to people. And so I have quite a bit of experience with like going into like a hotel or an establishment and wearing like this Donald Trump stuff, and knowing when you're getting like an adverse reaction to wearing that stuff by the staff or whatever. And so I walk into this hotel. As soon as I check in, the entire front desk staff was just like treating me like awfully, and they were like, you know the looks when they're like being pissed off at you, right? So basically, I ended up having this interaction with the staff where they were just being ridiculous. At some point, I went to talk to the manager about it because I was like, this is not cool. Because I was actually starting to get annoyed. And then the manager was just a complete bitch as well. And just the entire staff was, I've honest to God never stayed in a hotel that the staff has been this bad. And so what ended up happening is I went back to my room. I was like so freaked out about how the staff was treating me. I just didn't leave my room for the rest of the night. I didn't even eat dinner. I was like on the phone with friends and all that stuff. I ended up taking some like NyQuil pills that I had in my bag to try to put myself to sleep because of all this noise of like these black families running up and down the hallway. So I'm like laying in bed, and all of a sudden like this banging comes on my door. And the manager, like this security team from the hotel is like, you need to get out now. It's like 11 o'clock at night. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, and they basically accused me. They said multiple people have seen you running up and down the halls, banging on people's doors, telling them to shut up. I was like, I've literally been in my room the entire night. I've been on the phone the entire night or on the internet. Like I took NyQuil. I'm like, I was literally sleeping in bed, and they were like, you need to pack up your stuff and leave. And I was like, oh, fuck you assholes. And so basically what I did, and maybe I shouldn't have done this, but I did, is I was really pissed off. I was half asleep because I had just taken, like, if you never taken NyQuil pills, it will put you out.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'm dead, yeah.
It's like I had no idea what was even going on at this point. And so I was standing in the parking lot waiting for my ride to get there. I took a picture of the hotel sign. I tweeted it, and I said, this hotel just kicked me out for wearing a MAGA mask or something like that. Well, I had a very active following on Twitter at that point, and then they started calling the hotel and flaming the hotel and giving the hotel I had a lot of people following me that were very Trump heavy people. And so the hotel got flamed very, very badly on social media, and I didn't feel bad for them. And so then someone said I called in a bomb threat, but I never did. All I did was post, this hotel is kicking me out in the middle of the night. I didn't even do anything wrong. And then people started spreading these rumors that to this day, there's never been one photo of me running up and down the halls doing anything crazy. There's never been video on a security camera of that because it doesn't exist. Because I didn't.
You can be real with us and tell us
anyway.
if you did it.
No,
honestly,
in retrospect,
I think it would be funny if you did.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to be Team Karlyn, honestly, if you did, dude, all the way.
They deserved it. They had it coming. You can tell us.
Well, you know what? The amount that I've gotten blamed for this at this point, I kind of wish I just had done it. If you're gonna blame me for it, I would just rather do it anyway. But no, I didn't do it. No, that's bullshit.
That sucks, honestly.
Yeah,
it sucks that you didn't. I wish you did. That would be a Chad moment. You know what I mean? Like you're at the movie theater, the blacks are talking because of course they are. You you stand up and you go, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here!"
Did you have to have a Burger King crown on during this incident too? Is that
No,
I think there might be footage
of it.
Karlyn, I hate to break.
Is there any other drama or rumors that you guys would like to ask me about? Let's clear all the air.
Nah, I mean, I can't really think of anything else. Whereas you got anything? Because I heard the bomb threat thing, and I was like, I've got to get while we're airing everything out, I want to know, did you pull off a Chad move and call in a bomb threat on a hotel filled with blacks? Because it's pretty sick.
No.
Yeah.
I'm actually really boring. I'm sorry.
It's all right. No, you're still cool, but
less cool.
Less cool. Yeah, less cool for sure. Because that's honestly, that was like part of the reason why I brought you on. I just wanted to ask you about that. Now I'm like kind of, it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real, you know?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly, because
you know, but that's kind of like why I like you guys. To be honest, it's like you guys. God, it's so annoying how self-righteous so many of these conservatives and like people on Twitter are. It's just like have you ever done anything fun in your life? Can you remove the stick from your ass? Like, do we have to act like we're morally pure? I mean, it's crazy. And then I look at you guys, and you guys actually, for all of your banter on Twitter and all the nonsense that you create for people, you guys do actually treat people well in person. Like, you're actually like nice people to hang around, and like once you get past all the nonsense. And I'm like, listen, the Groypers are actually more morally pure than all the righteous assholes on Twitter who act like they're above reproach.
Well,
yeah, and it's not even like it's like a switch up or anything. It's just that, like, you know, we're normal. We're pretty normal in real life. You know, like, obviously we still believe all the same things that we do, but like, you know, ideally most of us are not it's so autistic that we don't know how to fucking, you know, hold ourselves in real life. You know what I mean? Like, we know the difference between Twitter and real life. We can be chill, we can be whatever, you know.